Good evening, you're watching Left, Right and Centre. I'm Nidhi Razdan. India's Supreme Court has said we cannot be a police state, that the government should consider bringing in a special bail act so that bail is the rule and jail the exception. Well, that's what it is supposed to be even now, but it's not followed in practice. People languish for years in jail as under trial, something the Supreme Court acknowledged when it made these remarks. It said that indiscriminate arrests create the impression of a police state and that arrest is a draconian measure that should be used sparingly. The presumption of innocence is a universal principle, said the court. So that's all very noble and sounds very good. But then in reality, you have the case, for instance, of fact-checker Mohammed Zubair. He was arrested for a 4-year-old tweet on the 27th of June. And since then, he has been unable to get bail as he faces a series of cases. His bail hearing, in fact, in a Delhi court today was adjourned because the public prosecutor wasn't there. The Supreme Court has given him interim bail meanwhile, but that's in another case related to Uttar Pradesh. Just one case, because in UP he's facing a series of other cases now. In fact, the UP government has now formed a special investigation team to investigate all the cases against Mohammed Zubair in UP. There are 6 FIRs against him in all in the state. In Sitapur, in Lakhimpur Kheri, in Muzaffarnagar, in Ghaziabad, and 2 FIRs in Hathras as well. Some of these were registered before the latest one that got him into trouble and actually had him under arrest, and a couple of them afterwards. Most of these FIRs are under the same sections of hurting religious sentiments and inciting violence. Zubair is currently under judicial custody in the Lakhimpur Kheri case. My colleague Sukirti Dwivedi now joins us for more on this developing story. Sukirti, sort of a very muddled legal tangle at the moment as far as Zubair's case is concerned. Where do things stand at the moment?
Well, as of now, Mohammed Zubair is in Tihar jail. As far as the FIRs against him are concerned, you're right when you say it is a legal tangle at this point of time, because all of these multiple FIRs and each of them differ. Why I'm pointing that out is because unlike any other case, for example, the recent case of the Z anchor where he faced multiple FIRs across the country for the same video that he put up on his show, he could get those FIRs clubbed, he could make a plea about that to the Supreme Court and then get a protection from the Supreme Court, which was a blanket protection. Mr. Zubair in this case is unable to get that because each of these FIR pertains to a different tweet of his. The complainant is different, the charges though may be similar, but the circumstances of all of these cases are very different from each other, and the time span is anywhere between tweets posted last year to the recent FIR in Hathras, which was just filed a week ago. So all of these multiple FIRs, different cases that he's facing, from the 3 FIRs that he was facing earlier, from 2 in Uttar Pradesh and 1 in Delhi, it is now a total of 7 FIRs that he's facing, 6 of which are in UP, 1 is in Delhi. So a big number of FIRs against him right now. Some relief from the Supreme Court today, which gave him interim bail in the Sitapur case, but in the Delhi Patiala House Court, he did not get any relief. That case has been deferred to 2 days from now. So multiple cases, which is what is preventing him from walking out of the jail, despite even the interim bails that he's been getting from the top court.
All right, Sukirti, thanks a lot for that update. And let's go straight across to our guests this evening. Mr. Colin Gonsalves, Senior Advocate of the Supreme Court, joining us first. He has been arguing Zubair's case in the Supreme Court. We've got Mr. Dushyant Dave also joining us today. Mr. Deshratham Nigam, who is a lawyer himself, but also a supporter of the RSS, and Akash Banerjee, a political satirist, also joining us on the program tonight. Colin Gonsalves, to you first. Can you explain to us where things stand at the moment for Zubair? Because, fine, the Supreme Court says his interim bail has been extended, but effectively it means nothing. He continues to be incarcerated.
Well, that's because there are other FIRs pending against him. But let me take you up on the phrase you use, muddled. Everything is muddled in Zubair's case. It's a very simple case. And just because you have 7 FIRs of the same kind, the facts are different, but the same kind. And what do I mean? That if you read the FIR and you read the tweet, the FIR says he made a communal tweet. And if you read the tweet, all 7 tweets, they are innocent of any crime. What is the charge? That he spoke against religion. He made a criticism of religion and religious personalities. The FIRs are totally innocent. In the case that I did, he attacked the hate mongers. He said, "You hate mongers. Why are you doing hate mongering?" And he got arrested for saying, "Why are you doing hate mongering?" So the case is straightforward. If the Supreme Court were to take all the FIRs together, and all that the Supreme Court judges have to do, read FIR 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then ask the public prosecutor, where is the crime? Tell us, where is the crime? Hate mongers are informants, and they are the persons behind the FIR. The hate mongers are out on bail. And the news reports say after coming out on bail, they again repeated the same hate crimes. And poor Zubair, whose only thing as a journalist, his only weapon as a journalist is a simple tweet. Those are innocent tweets which have no criminal
But
content.
Mr. Gonsalves, that is the point. It can be straightforward if the court chooses to look at it that way, and it's not. And I said the word muddled because, you know, there is this interim bail in the Supreme Court. The public prosecutor doesn't show up in the lower court. You know, there are all these various FIRs. They may be similar, but they're there. So he's told they can't get his custody in one case, but they go ahead and file another case and take him into custody anyway. The point is that and I say this with respect to the Supreme Court, but, you know, is this motherhood and apple pie statements that the judges are making about bail, etc., and the reality is so different?
Correct. The reality is different. And you need judges to stand up and be firm and say, we'll not allow this kind of nonsense. Bring all the 7 FIRs together, we'll dispose of that case in exactly 15 minutes. Just read the tweets and dispose of the case. You're right. So muddled, it's muddled because the judges sometimes in the lower courts particularly, and elsewhere also, the judges are muddled and the police are thoroughly communalized. They don't care really. Do they have a case? Is it legal? Is it constitutional? They don't care. They got instructions from above. By hook or by crook, keep this man behind bars. If one case is crumbling, go to the second. When the second case crumbles, go to the third. Multiplicity of false cases, wrong cases. It's a totally evil strategy. It's a totally communal strategy. This is all about a battle of good against evil, of small against the strong.
David versus Goliath, I guess.
And of the secular against the communal. That's what this is a battle of.
Mr. David, do you agree with that? And how do you see the Supreme Court's strong words about bail, you know, which actually came literally yesterday, asking the court to, asking the government, to consider a bail act, talking about the truth, which is that 2/3 of those in jail today are under trials who are not even guilty of anything yet, and continue to languish in jails. Do these words ring hollow when you compare that with action on the ground?
No amount of law, no amount of judgments from the Supreme Court is going to change the situation on the ground. The fact of the matter is that the police is acting at the instance of the executive in power, and there is nothing we can do about it. We have lost the game long ago. It's nothing to do with Congress, it's nothing to do with BJP. The police is today working for every political party which is in power. And that's the saddest commentary so far as this country is concerned. Otherwise, if you look at it, if you look at the Criminal Procedure Act, and I'm sure Gonsalves and Mr. Nigam, both who are very well versed with law, will agree with me, that at every stage, there are safeguards provided in the code. When the police gets a complaint, the police officer is required to satisfy whether this is a credible information, whether it raises a prima facie substantial case. When he sends it to the judge is expected to satisfy whether there is reliable information, whether there is sufficient material at this stage to proceed against the accused. At every stage, there is a safeguard. And if the police or the judge finds that this is not credible, there is no offense made out, they must stop investigation and release the accused straight away. Even before arresting the accused, the police is under an obligation not to arrest him by virtue of Section 41 and 41A, which Supreme Court has reminded
us.
So
all of this is already there. It doesn't even need a separate bail act, is what you're saying.
I agree. That's why I say that no amount of change of law is going to. What we need to change is a mindset. What we need to change is a love for Constitution of India, for the rights of citizens, for fundamental rights of citizens, for civil liberties. Unless we do that, unless we educate our police, unless we educate our executive, unless we educate our judiciary, we are not going to achieve this. And what is really troublesome today, especially in the context of Zubair's case, that Prime Minister enjoys an immense popularity. BJP, as Mr. Amit Shah said only the other day, is here to stay for 30 to 40 years. They don't need to stop critics. They must welcome critics. If there is no criticism of the government, how are they going to know whether they are on the right path or not? I am really astonished that this government, which is so popular, Prime Minister is untouchable. There is no opposition leader who can go anywhere near him. So why should his government worry if somebody is objectively criticizing his policies or his actions? There's nothing wrong about it. That's what democracy is. So really speaking, the political establishment has to change the mindset, and the police and judiciary have to seriously change the mindset. Coupled with that, of course, the civil society has to become very, very vigilant. Look at, George Floyd's case. The entire, world was moved by that. And the entire world started a movement. In this country, nobody cares about people being illegally arrested, illegally killed in encounters.
Until it happens to you.
Yeah, so it's, even if it happens to you, you are finished. So I think we really need to rethink. We need to, and if BJP cannot rethink, then I don't think anybody can rethink, because I don't think there is any other party which really is capable of enforcing.
Those are very significant points you made, Mr. Dave. Mr. Nigam, both politically and legally, how do you view this? Bail should be the rule and jail should be the exception. Why is that not happening in your view?
First, let me point out two cases about Mr. Zubair. One is a POCSO case in 2018, which was prima facie investigated by the Child Commission. And on the instance of the Child Commission, that FIR was registered. Second is about the fake news that he peddled regarding Israel and Palestinian conflict, which turned out to be true, which FIR is in Muzaffarnagar. Two different FIRs, I am saying, which are also again there apart from other FIRs. When Mr. Gonsalves agrees that the facts are different, then the FIRs cannot be similar. Although sections may be similar. So any lawyer can tell you when the facts in the FIR are different, then these FIRs are not similar. And let me also point out, yes, the issue raised here is a larger issue that we are discussing. And there is a lot of discretion given to the judges so far as bail is concerned. And that discretionary power there is no uniformity there. Forget about Zubair's case, because so far as in Delhi, there is a destruction of evidence also there, FCRA violation is also there, and the conspiracy aspect is also there. So therefore, he has been sent to judicial custody, not the police custody, because no further investigation is required. Therefore, it is about tampering evidence and other things, and any lawyer can tell you that. The larger issue that is being raised is, yes, on the larger principle, I can agree that this requires certain kind of change in mindset and reforms, and that reform has to come at all levels, whether it is police or the judiciary. And unless and until that happens, you will find a lot of under trials being languishing in jails, and that is happening. That's a very serious issue. It has clogged the entire jail system of yours. The ones who are supposed to be not there, they are inside. And our court system is also clogged with cases after cases.
No, but these are fundamental cases of liberty, Mr. Nigam, and Zubair's case is important because you can see that there is an entire machinery that's going after him. I mean, what he's been picked up for is so frivolous. I'm sure that even you can't say that that's a serious matter. A tweet from 2018 quoting a Rishikesh Mukherjee film.
So let me tell you, unless and until I see the evidence, prima facie, we all may have our opinions. The evidence Mr. Colin Gonsalves will only see when the charge sheet is filed, the evidence comes. every accused says I am innocent. The fact remains, Mr. Colin Gonsalves has not yet seen the evidence against Mr. Zubair. He may say he's innocent, he may be innocent. But Mr. Gonsalves will, as a lawyer, let me tell you, will be able to comment.
My point is that should he not be on bail? Should he not be out on bail while all this is going on? Does he deserve to be in prison for this?
See, the fact is, destruction of evidence and tampering with evidence is something very serious for which he has been sent to judicial custody, not the police custody.
Destruction of what? People don't use their old cell phones.
See,
what is he destroyed?
Let's not pass a judgment. Let's not pass a judgment at this stage. They said he has been deleting tweets and he has been deleting his
delete
Facebook.
Tweets all the time.
But then if it is an offense.
Why is it an offense? What unrest did they cause? I mean, Mr. Nigam, I admire your faith in the police. I really do. That's amazing. But but let's objectively look at this. People delete tweets all the time. Did any of his tweets cause communal violence? Did they cause any violence in the country?
It is not necessary that it should cause communal violence.
Then what is it?
It is not. Even if the violence has not taken place, this would amount to attempt also. Please remember, we are talking as a lawyer out here.
4-year-old tweet.
Yes, it could be.
Reported by an anonymous handle set up literally like the day that he was arrested with one follower.
Let me interrupt Mr. Nigam to say that I have seen the FIRs of Delhi, Sitapur and Lakhimpur Kheri. They do not make out any offense of section 153A or 295. I have examined them in great detail. I don't think Mr. Nigam is right in what he's saying. I mean, police doesn't have power to go on unearthing some bogus evidence trying to support a case when it was not the case originally made out in the FIR.
Okay, I just like to bring Akash in here because Akash...
let me finish. Give me 10 seconds.
Okay,
just give me 10 seconds. Mr. Dave, I respect your opinion, but that is your opinion. As a lawyer, we all have opinions, and my opinion differs from yours. And this is not the stage of even evidence. You have just seen the FIR, and the person...
We are not on conviction. We are not on conviction. We are on bail.
It's a question of bail. Exactly. So, that's what I said, that why should he be in jail?
That is what I am saying. At this stage, so far as Delhi is concerned, there are other issues that have come up, and therefore he has been sent to judicial custody. And in the UP case, he went to Allahabad High Court, which refuses to quash the FIR also. And therefore, there is some substance. So therefore, there's some substance. And let the evidence come on record, and you will probably see many things coming out. So,
Mr. Nigam, the people whom you represent don't want criticism.
No. I think
they don't want facts to be checked.
No.
Should be... Let me tell you one thing. The reporting during Nizamuddin Markaz incident was far serious than anything else when you called the whole community walking bombs. You don't take action against those people at all. And you want to take action for these tweets which are completely innocuous. There is nothing in these tweets. I don't think, Mr. Nigam, please, I respect you immensely. But please respect my judgment after 43 years. I know law as much as you do. And I can tell you, these FIRs are completely without any legs to stand.
Let me just get
inside. I respect your opinion, Mr. Dave. I respect your opinion. But respect the other person's opinion also.
Mr. Nigam, it is sending wrong signals about India, about your good government, about Prime Minister who is so popular.
I think, Mr.
He doesn't need it.
Don't politicize it.
He doesn't need all this nonsense.
Okay, let me get Akash Banerjee into this because Akash, do you find, I mean, as someone who's active and outspoken yourself on social media on these issues, has the Zubair case and what has happened, has it scared you? Do you find yourself even, censoring yourself before you put out a comment anymore? Honest question, honest to God.
No. This is too much democracy, Nidhi. I mean, it's a shame that you're asking such a question. We live in too much democracy. There is no fear at all. Nidhi, it's so ironic that the discussion that we are having at this point of time, this could lead to law and order situations. This can hurt sentiments. I feel so humbled sitting in front of such greats as Mr. Dave and Mr. Gonsalves, who's taking such pains to fight for the truth. But the fact is that with Zubair, what has happened, and you're asking about scared or not scared, Nidhi, With Zubair, what has happened is the rule book has been thrown out of the window. Till now, what we had seen is you do something wrong, you have some secrets, you have some skeletons in your cupboard, the ED, the CBI, you will have an income tax raid. Having seen how these guys operate, because we've done some shows, we've extracted information. Alt news, by the way, their fake news busting is free. You can take their fake news busting work and just use it on your channel and just give them credit. So we've seen the kind of security they have taken. For example, these bogus allegations being leveled against FCRA. What absolute asininry that was when Razorpay actually had to come out and say, listen, they didn't even have foreign contributions on. So there is no question of Pakistan or something giving them money, because FCRA ke bina, and alt news does not have that, and international payments were not switched on, but the narrative had already been built by them. But I'll just get Dave sir's point forward. Why is this happening? Despite the fact that there is zero opposition in this country, Rahul Gandhi apparently has again gone abroad and is missing crucial meetings. Your ticker was also showing that information. I think nobody in his mind would say that 2024 is already not a decided game. Why is it then this sort of witch huntry is going on? To answer to Mr. Dave, I think the reason is very simple. Because there is nothing else to talk about. There is logic why this is happening. And the logic is, since I do not have a $5 trillion economy to talk about, I do not have mega growth to talk about, I do not have farmer income that is doubling, I do not have a successful, even unicorns, by the way, they're getting out of news. I need to keep the churn alive. And this is the churn that is happening. This is how people are getting divided. This is the topic of conversation, so that we don't discuss 80 rupees to $1. I think that is the major point. My other little point, and I want to mention, because this is NDTV only, I did an interview of Ravish many years ago after the Akhlaq incident, and he had withdrawn from Twitter. And he said, I'm not withdrawing because I'm scared of the government. And this holds true for me. If I withdraw or if I self-censor, it won't be for the government. There are certain things that you sign up for when you decide to ask a few uncomfortable questions. But who are you asking these questions for? And that is what I'm saying. And Mr. Gonsalves will have to live up to this, is that he is fighting for Zubair. Zubair is fighting for the truth. We know it. But who cares? Say he's locked up for another 6 months. Who cares? It will be forgotten. We forgot Bhima Koregaon. We've forgotten so many other things also. So ultimately, it's the people also who are in the dock at this point of time. And we will get to know whether we deserve fact checkers or not. Please understand, Nidhi,
I think
the kind of damage that has been
that's
caused
the point
to the
Mr. Dave was making as well about civil society. I just want to get a quick last comment from you, Mr. Gonsalves, just to respond to what Akash said. I mean, how do you sort of carry on fighting when you know that there is a vast population of people out there who really don't care? They don't realize the seriousness of this.
I think that it would be wrong to discount the millions of Indians as being passive and docile. They may not act today because they know that this is a government with a gun and a danda. So they bide their time. But will the millions of India who fought and threw out the British at some time in the future rise in revolt against this government and this dadagiri and unlawful activities and hate speech? I don't undermine the power of the people of India or their propensity to change, revolutionary change. I don't undermine that at all. And I think we must retain that faith, because the people of India have shown so often that pushed beyond a point, they will react so completely and so energetically in such a revolutionary way that they will change India for the good. It's possible. And it is probably happening sooner than we expect, with the economy taking a dive and a huge crisis on the economy.
Can I comment?
Well, Mr. Nigam, I have 30 seconds. Sure, go ahead.
See, the fact is, if tomorrow, let us presume the person is convicted finally by the Supreme Court, many of us on this panel will have to eat our words. And I'm quite clear about it. And the political speech given by Mr. Gonsalves certainly does not require for Zubair's case. The matter is in the court. Let us not be a judge. It is about bail, and let us. I would have preferred to confine myself on the larger judicial reforms rather than a political agenda being instigating people coming on the streets, economy, this and that. We can debate it with Mr. Gonsalves on some other date if you have that topic. So this was purely about bail, about Zubair and the larger reforms, which Mr. Gonsalves made it a political speech with his leftist agenda that he is always known
All right.
for.
Leftist,
Mr.
rightist.
Gonsalves.
Let's not get into labels at the moment. I have to
Watch
leave
out.
it. I have to leave it there.
I can only say one thing, that Ambedkar during Constituent Assembly reminded us that we should forget revolutionary methods. We should only do whatever we want to do by peaceful methods.
Yeah, and I think that holds true
That's a
for
good-
everyone.
that's a
That
good
holds
advice
true
for
for
Mr.
everyone.
Gonsalves.
I have to leave it there. Just some quick comments coming in on coup. Adarsh has said that democracy can never be a police state, while Mohit has written that the Supreme Court should issue guidelines to prevent unnecessary arrest and remand. Shiv says, is bail over jail necessary? And Gopinath says that what the court has said should be taken into consideration. That's it for tonight. Thanks for watching.